My whole life is consistent. Everything I do.
Welcome in to this week's episode of The Flop Factor. It's me, Cody Burton, your host. Alongside me is RJ Rice, Brayden Laszlo, and a special guest. Matt Foley is here as DJ McDermott cannot be here today. He is working at a basketball game at the Hope Coliseum as the women's basketball team opens their season out strong tonight against Purdue Fort Wayne University for WVU. But we have a long list of things that we have to cover this week. There's a good bit of topics that could just bring up some good discussions, some good discussion points. I mean, Ja Morant was suspended. Trae Young is out for a little bit. The Thunder, Bulls, and Trailblazers have all had really hot starts through the year. The Pelicans, they're 0-5. And then we're bringing back the rookie roundtable. We're 2 weeks into the season. It's a good point to bring up some rookies we like. And then obviously the NBA Cup is here. The NBA Cup is back. And it was great last week, and we know every single team in the NBA is going to be starting that this week, which is always fun. But we're going to start out strong. Ja Morant was suspended one game for disagreeing with the Memphis Grizzlies coaching staff. First-year Grizzlies coach Thomas Ilyasau challenged Ja Morant's leadership and effort in a post-game exchange Friday night. Whenever they lost 117-112 to the Los Angeles Lakers. Morant did not like that, and he was held for a season-low 8 points, 3 of 14 from the field, 7 assists, and after the game he was asked about why they noticed, and he said, according to the coaching staff, they probably don't play me, honestly. That's basically what the message was. It's cool. And then he also told the reporters to go ask the coaching staff for responding to questions about his performance without explaining further. And he's averaging a career low 28.5 minutes per game through 6 games of the season. Now, the Grizzlies, they've already had a plethora of injuries on the year. Thomas Ilyasau's kind of just trying to figure out how to be an NBA head coach still. It's just been very rough so far for them. They've had a plethora of guard injuries, and they're still not playing their rookie. Ja Morant was suspended last night, and they were playing Cam Spencer at point guard instead of either of Cedric Howard or Javon Smalley or one of the rookies. But anyways, could we be seeing Ja Morant in another team's uniform here soon?
I don't think that's totally out of the question, but I still think there's a lot of seasons still left to be played out, and if Ja and Thomas can kind of get their differences aside further on into the future, I think we can be having a more positive discussion about this. But as of right now, if you're Memphis and you're seeing this as your star player and the coaching staff, that divide is not something you want to have really early. I mean, you're around on basically 500, and I think obviously way too early to be thinking anything playoff related. But I mean, even just to get a hot start to the season and can keep it continuing, I think you have to be on the same page. And I think kind of showing this kind of shows an example of obviously stick together. I mean, at the end of the day, they're all on the same team and under the same organization. So I think if they can kind of get these out of the way, you don't necessarily have to get those trade talks in. But if they start tanking in almost called it Mississippi, Memphis goes down, you could be having those trade talks kind of towards almost the trade deadline.
Yeah, I think another conversation we should kind of have here is Ja Morant is not a great leader. I mean, we've seen it before in past seasons where he had the issue with the firearms on IG Live. He's always doing something to distract from basketball. I mean, I'm not saying don't have a life outside of the game at all, but at the end of the day, you're getting paid millions of dollars by an organization to be there, to be a leader, to be the best player on the team, which he is. But it's got to come down to, can he be the leader that this Memphis team specifically needs? And if the management decides no, I mean, they've put up with a lot from Ja Morant since he's been there. But I do think that there has to be a type of change, and suspending Ja for an act like this is exactly the right move. I think that obviously he has every right to be frustrated playing a career low in minutes, but at the end of the day, as you mentioned, RJ, everybody's on the same team here. There's no reason to be acting out like this, and I think that Ja Morant really needs to like have a self-to-self talk and really decide if he wants to be in Memphis and give his all, or it might be over.
Yeah, I think it's time for Ja to really move on, and I think it's best for the Grizzlies to move on. They don't really have I want to say a core to really build around, and that's just coming for somebody who doesn't really pay attention that closely to the NBA. But I just think the Grizzlies have been sputtering around that, will they be good enough to make a playoffs and make a run, or are they just some middle of the pack team that's just going to hover around, maybe make a run, maybe not make a run? And I think it's going to come down to I think Ja's going to get fed up with the organization and want out, and I just think at that point you might as well just ship off Ja and Jaren for picks and young capital to build on for the future. Because if you look at it right now, from somebody who Ja and Jaren is basically it. Those are the only two names I really recognize, and same with Cedric Coward from the draft. But I think that if you want to build with those three, but then I think you really got to go out and make a splashy move to bring in some veteran experience who can help guide the young bucks.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to go in more of the coaching situation the Grizzlies have, because they're not they're not completely innocent either here, because when you really think Ilyasov took over whenever Taylor Jenkins was fired last season, it was a completely surprise firing. They were the 6th seed at that point. They were in the top half of the West for most of the season, and the second Jenkins was fired, they immediately started losing games. In the playoffs, it was just a complete belt that they received in the first round. It has not gone good, and they still decided, let's stick with this guy, even though he's shown nothing to prove that he's a good head coach. And the reason why Jenkins was fired was apparently that he lost the locker room. Well, we were 7 games into the season, and well, it looks like that locker room's already lost. It seems like it wasn't really totally on Jenkins. Maybe the Grizzlies are just a complete dumpster fire right now, and they should just blow up the entire team. But it's just, with Ja Morant, whenever you think a couple of years ago he was at the top of the world, one of the best scoring guards in the league, we haven't seen that. We haven't seen the same explosiveness. We haven't seen the same type of effort, the same type of execution that we've come used to seeing with him. And you can say part of it's because all the stuff off the court to happen. He, of course, had some injuries, lower body injuries. That tends to wipe out some athleticism on players we see in the past with Derrick Rose. But, it's just the Grizzlies as a whole. If you really want your superstar, at that point he was, now he's not at that level anymore. If you want him to continue to improve, if you want your young guard to continue to improve, you have to try to help him out a little bit. And they've done the exact opposite. They had a solid core going on, made a couple of moves. I agree with the Dillon Brooks move, but other than that, it was they made the worst possible moves for the team throughout the entire time. The Desmond Bane trade couldn't end up to be good depending on who they select with those draft picks, but it's felt like everything they've done ever since they were the top of the West. And then obviously they lost to the Lakers, but in the first round that year. But it's just ever since that moment, it's just been a downhill spiral, downhill slide, and it's been pretty unfortunate to watch. Now moving on, at the beginning of the year, one of our favorite teams to potentially make some noise, the Atlanta Hawks. They've been kind of up and down so far, and things got worse whenever it was announced that Trae Young is going to be out for at least 4 weeks with a sprained MCL, and that's not good for Trae. That's not good for the Hawks. But so far on the season, the Atlanta Hawks are sitting at a average but not the greatest record. It's currently at 3-4, just below 500. Jalen Johnson's still looked great. Okongwu's had some flashes. Nickeil Alexander-Walker's averaging 17 a game. But it's just overall the Hawks have kind of just been struggling at times. They've been able to defeat the lesser opponents, but without Trae Young, it's going to be hard for them to continue.
Yeah, you even saw what they've done this season as well, Cody. You talked about beating those lesser teams, but obviously when they go up against these other better teams, for example, their most recent game was against Cleveland. They lost that one in Cleveland, losing to OKC, Chicago, and then obviously Toronto in their first game of this season. I'm going to be really curious to see without Trae Young for most likely what they said reevaluated around 4 weeks, around a month. You have some more opponents on. You have Toronto again on the schedule, an Orlando team that is a really scrappy young squad. I mean, you obviously had the Lakers, the Clippers, and even just an example how up and coming Detroit is going to be. I think just a couple of those examples, and you even have the Sixers and Cavs kind of end off the month of November. I'm really curious to see how this Atlanta Hawks squad will be. I think so far they're kind of treading towards that mediocrity tier again, and unless someone else tries to stop up, like maybe Alexander Walker, for example. I mean, if it isn't him, then I think will be a very curious sight for this Atlanta Hawks team that, I mean, as you said before, we were all a lot high on. So I'm curious to see how they go from here.
Yeah, I mean, it's brutal. I mean, Trae Young over the past couple of seasons since he's been on the Hawks has become synonymous with the brand. I mean, you think of the Hawks, you think Trae Young. But I don't think this is the end of the world for the Hawks. I think this definitely gives a lot of opportunities to those other guys to see if they can step up, keep this team afloat. I'm looking at Dyson Daniels. I don't think he's been to that type of caliber player that we've all thought he could be. So I'm looking at him to take that jump, try to get himself more into the scoring category, as I think he's top 8 on the team right now, but he's not averaging double digits. I mean, Zachary Ricochet, he's got a chance now to kind of cement himself. I mean, people kind of wrote him off. They thought he wasn't the right choice, but I mean, we're going to see a lot of guys try to step up for this Hawks team, and I don't think this is the end of the world for this Atlanta squad.
Yeah, I think if you're the Hawks with Trae Young going down, this is a time for you to get your young talent more involved. I look at players like Asa Newell. I know he's a forward, but I think if they can get him involved with the forwards with Okongwu and Ricochet, I think that can be a dynamic force at that position, because Asa Newell was a bucket at Georgia, and I think he has the talent to be like that in the NBA. He might not have the same level of scoring success, but he can definitely put up double-digit points per game, and he can definitely give you at least eight plus rebounds a game. And I think if they can get him involved and let Ricochet fully bloom now and get him the ball in his hands, I think the Hawks can start to develop their young talent more.
Yeah, definitely. And from whenever I've watched this Hawks team this season, like there was that game against the Thunder I watched, which that's not really a good test to really see how a team is against that. It was just a very strong defense they were having to score. And Asa Newell did look great in that game, though, is one thing I'll say. But throughout this season, the Hawks have just been so close but haven't really been able to put it together. Part of it's the defense. Part of it has their defense is very hit or miss. I think it also, Okongwu needs to play about 30-35 minutes a game because he is the backbone of that defense. He's the best paint defender that they even have come close to having. Nickeil Alexander-Walker has been a great defender as well. But one guy I'm looking at, Dyson Daniels, has been very disappointing so far this season after being the most improved player a season ago, being a Defensive Player of the Year candidate a season ago. He's been able to follow up a poor start of the year ever since Trae Young went down to injury. He had 18, 9, and 6. That's a really good game against Indiana. And then last night against Cleveland, 18, 4, and 4. And that 4 is 4 steals. That's trying to get back going in the right direction, but at the start of the season, he was just not looking great. His offense was looking putrid, and just the defense wasn't really what we were come to used to. Obviously, he's a great defender, but you expect a lot more than what it was looking like at the start of the year. It was looking like he was potentially the second best defender on the team in terms of perimeter-wise. It looked like Nickeil Alexander-Walker was playing better on defense than he was at the start of the year, but hopefully he's using these past 2 games as momentum so he can try to leapfrog, and whenever Trae Young gets back, this Hawks team can get to the point that we were all expecting at the start of the year. Now, and I guess happier news, if you will, in terms of whenever we're talking about teams, like for this team, it's going a lot better than the last 2 teams we've been talking about. The Oklahoma City Thunder, they coming off of a NBA championship a season ago, and they started 7-0 a season ago, and just like they did last year, they're 7-0 again this year. OKC is the 3rd team in NBA history to win 7 consecutive games to start 2 seasons in a row. It joins the 93-95 Houston Rockets, led by Hakeem Olajuwon, and the 1963-65 Boston Celtics, led by Bill Russell, to reach this mark. Both of those previous teams won back-to-back NBA titles. Now, I'm not saying that NBA season's over, you can just name the victor right now, but that's what history says. the Thunder have just been able to ravage teams already. I mean, Jalen Williams hasn't played the entire season. Chet Holmgren's missed 4 games. Isaiah Joe has been limited to 2. He's back now, though. Lou Dort didn't play during yesterday's game, but the team's deep. They have AJ Mitchell. That's all you need, apparently. They have Shea, who actually just won the Western Conference Player of the Week. Eastern Conference Player of the Week was Tyrese Maxey. But is this Thunder team just are they about to just run to another title?
Well, I mean, it's obviously not as set as stone as that. Obviously, with this season, I mean, you never know, especially with playoff time. I mean, you're going to see a lot of different teams. I think, for example, the Houston game on opening night, I think was a great matchup. I mean, obviously a lot of controversy in the reffing and what was going on, but still a great game. And even, I mean, the Pacers put up a great fight in Indiana, and I mean, there's still a couple of these games that were close, but I think obviously for Oklahoma City, that depth is going to carry them a long way, and especially once they get healthier, having Chet back, I think will really help them as well, because I know he's dealing with something right now. But I think really for this Oklahoma City team, I mean, you control it one game at a time. I think if you start to overlook things like that and say, oh, well, we're just going to be the champions and not take it game by game and step by step, then that's where the slip-ups will tend to happen. So I think if Oklahoma City keeps it under control and take it on a short-term period, game by game, I think they'll be just fine. And potentially you could see them win back-to-back titles.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that helps the Thunder the most, regardless, is the depth. I mean, we've seen guys like Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins, AJ Mitchell. I know you're pretty high on him, Cody, but I mean, all these guys have just stepped up in the absence of Jalen Williams, and now with Chet Holmgren down, he's the second leading scorer on the team. Like, we're gonna have to see a couple more guys step up. I mean, you still have guys like Lou Dort, Cason Wallace, Caruso. I mean, this team is very deep, and for that reason, I think they do go back to back, but. I mean, obviously, we still have a lot of season left. I'm not going to crown them right now, but as it looks of it right now, I think top to bottom, this roster has the talent to do so.
Yeah, you guys said it best. I think this team is very deep. They can definitely make another run back at the title. They have arguably the best player in the world right now in SGA. Definitely the best scorer in the league right now. But I think this is going to make teams more willing at the trade deadline to make moves and go out and make moves. I think the Western Conference, like just to crown somebody already as champ, especially with how loaded the Western Conference is right now. Like you're talking about, like the 8 seed right now is the Warriors. So, and if the Warriors make the playoffs, they're arguably one of the best teams in the country at all times. And then you got teams like the Thunder, the Timberwolves, who could always go on a run like they did last year and the year before with Ant, he still hasn't really played that much, correct? And like the Rockets are sitting at 7. We saw them go tooth and nail with the Thunder on the opening game. And then you've got the Lakers who are sitting at 3rd without LeBron. So I think the Thunder are off to a great start and definitely have the best chances of winning the championship. But I think this Western Conference is going to be extremely tough, especially with teams probably really desperate to go out and make moves at the trade deadline.
Yeah, I mean, we already saw this in the offseason, like the Denver Nuggets. They were second-round exits, and they were like, we need to give Jokic more help. I mean, he was doing all he could to will this team past this same Thunder team last season ago, and just came up short. I mean, no matter how good he was playing, felt like the Thunder were eventually going to overcome, and they did a great job in picking up guys. I mean, replacing Michael Porter Jr. with Cam Johnson, getting Tim Hardaway Jr. to kind of play that Kentavious Caldwell-Pope role that they had on their championship team. They got Bruce Brown back, and it's just they're all trying to make the best moves possible to where they can compete, they can win a championship, be the next team to come out west. And we haven't seen a repeated NBA champion since the Golden State Warriors in 2018-19. It's just such a hard thing to do, especially under the current CBA with, the Boston Celtics having to blow up a bunch of their guys from that championship core just 2 years later, mainly because of the Jason Tatum injury, but it was also because of, when you try to find a way to make sure we're using the most amount of our money as possible, and that's what they had to do. But with the Thunder team, when you think your second best player, an All-NBA player a season ago, is out, has been out the entire season so far, and you're still able to win games by its decent results. I mean, there was a couple close games here and there. I mean, the Pacers and Rockets games both double overtime finishes. That Mavericks game got a lot closer than it should have been at the end. And that Kings game, the Thunder needed a near 20-point comeback at home to defeat that Kings team. But it always just feels like no matter how much another team does, the depth in this team is able to just will it over anybody. It's just, you're like, oh, you're stopping Shea. Well, here's A.J. Mitchell. Oh, Lou Dort's having a bad night. Here's Isaiah Joe. Here's Aaron Wiggins. Oh, you got past Lou Dort. You got past Alex Caruso on defense. Here comes Isaiah Hartenstein blocking a shot. Here comes Chet Holmgren blocking a shot. I mean, Jalen Williams, Jay Will, has been doing a great job rim protecting so far despite losing a little bit of weight this offseason. And that's not even mentioning Cason Wallace. It's just top to bottom, this is the most complete team in the NBA, and everyone's going to try to overcome them. There's a couple teams that very well can. I mean, the Denver Nuggets, very good team. I already mentioned them. Houston Rockets, they've been very up and down to start the season, but they're still a very good team. We have to try to see how they go the rest of the year with trying to figure out how to handle that point guard position. Maybe they pick up someone at the trade deadline because of how the Fred VanVleet injury just came out of nowhere. There's a lot of strong teams in this West. I mean, the Los Angeles Lakers have looked great this year, and LeBron's not even touched the floor just yet. I mean, Luka's missed time. Austin Reeves looks like an animal. He's just doing everything possible. Luka Doncic, whenever he's played, he looks like he could potentially win MVP this year. It's just, this Western Conference, incredibly stacked, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens the rest of the way with this conference. And so far, 7-0. History says team wins goes 7-0 to start the season, back-to-back seasons. They win the championship both of those years. Let's see if that happens once again. Now, speaking of hot starts, the Chicago Bulls, they've had one. Now, they lost last night, becoming the final undefeated team to fall outside of the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Spurs lost last night as well. But there's been a lot of things around this team where it's like, is this real? Is this a fluke? Obviously, a lot of people did not see the Chicago Bulls being at the top of the East already at the start of the season. No one saw Josh Giddey averaging a near triple-double either. I mean, he's averaging 22, 9, and 9 so far on the season. Nikola Vucevic has looked great. Ayo Dosunmu could be a potential six-man of the year candidate at the end of the year. Matas Buzelis is making that jump that a lot of people did expect. Trey Jones has been a great backup point guard as well. It's just this defense has been near the top of the league so far, and it's just like, well, I'm naming all these players, and I'm like, where's the good defender at? Who's the guy locking them down? Is it Dalen Terry? Is it Javon Carter, who's only played one game in the, so far this season? Maybe Isaac Okoro's doing all of this by himself. Who knows? Maybe he's just that good now. But I mean, Patrick Williams is coming off the bench for him now with Isaac Okoro coming over. That's kind of crazy to picture in my mind after that's both coming from the same draft class. But it's the three-point percentage that other teams have been shooting. Now, obviously, whenever they lost last night, the Knicks were blistering hot from deep. But beforehand, opponents were shooting 29% from three on open looks against them. So, I mean, just looking at that, you're like, well, maybe this is a little bit fishy. Maybe this is still a solid team. But in your all's opinion, is this real, or are they going to make a good playoff run this year, or is this just a pure fluke?
I mean, a good playoff run, I think, could be pushing it a little bit. I mean, obviously, with some of these games, I mean, you talked about it, could have that 29% open look three-point percentage. When you take that into account with certain games that are really close, like the Detroit game, for example, or even at the Atlanta game, those are two outcomes that could have gone very differently. And I think for Chicago also, I mean, two things can be right at the same time. And I think especially for Josh Giddey almost averaging that triple-double. I know Vucevic is shooting really well. I think he's almost 60%. I believe he's 58%. And also you mentioning, also defensively for Chicago, I think is a great thing that they have. And I think if they continue that defensive pressure and that pace, I think especially when you're even getting production out of guys like Kevin Huerter, obviously like Ayo, for an example, and Matas, I think it's really great for Chicago. I mean, you want to have that young core that produce now, and you have believe what? Yeah, that's 6 guys averaging double digits in the points category, and most of the time when you have guys, it's constantly balanced scoring. I think you can have a better chance of winning these games later on down the road as well, not even just now. So I mean, they can potentially make it's semi-decent. I mean, you could say potentially just above that play-in at max, but you can kind of see them around that play-in range. But for Chicago right now, a little bit of luck has gone on their side, but they also have a lot of great young pieces that can be used for a potential playoff push.
Yeah, the one thing that stands out to me for the Chicago Bulls team is they ranked first in the league in assists per game. So they are great at sharing the ball. They get teammates open, and credit to Josh Giddey, who's kind of having a breakout year. I mean, I know Cody, he was in OKC for a minute, but I mean, I feel like him being on the Bulls kind of gave him the ropes to shine as that number one guy right now, and we're seeing that very, very well so far here. Only 6 games into the season. I don't think this is sustainable, especially with teams like the Bucks, the Knicks, the Cavs, and you can throw in a couple others, but I don't think the Bulls are going to have luck on their side all season. It's only 6 games. There's plenty of games for this to kind of cool off, and I think it will. But credit to Josh Giddey for almost averaging a triple-double, and this team's fun to watch right now. It really is.
Yeah, I think the Bulls luck has definitely gone on their side, but it feels like this team is just lacking a superstar to really lead this team to a playoff run. Like, yes, they could make it in, but I don't see them sustaining one of the top 2 seeds. I see them more of like a 4 or 5 seeded team, but I think if they're able to pick up like a superstar, like I know we talked about Ja Morant, just imagine Ja Morant on this team. Like they can really just embrace him as a scorer, just letting him do what he was meant to do out of college. He was just a pure scorer at that. And I think him, especially in O-Block, would just be incredible for Ja Morant. I wanted to say that earlier on, but they just got to bring back that mentality of Ja, and I think this team will go far.
Yeah, definitely.
Get him Parkside Gardens. Let him get to work.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Now the Chicago Bulls, though. I don't really know what to make of them. Obviously, it's early in the year. Josh Giddey is breaking out. Good for him, I guess. It just wasn't meant for him to be, I guess, that guy. Well, he was doing good.
Yeah.
He was doing good as the second option on those Thunder teams alongside Shea. It was whenever Jalen Williams broke out, was whenever it was like, okay, there's no reason to have Josh Giddey as the number 3. And then Chet Holmgren's coming too. There's no reason to have Josh Giddey as the number 4, because then that's what happened in the playoffs that season before he got traded. He was stuck in the corner. That's the exact spot you do not want him to be in. Just being left open. And it was they were giving him the Ben Simmons treatment. And that's not really, he's a lot more talented than that. You have to utilize him in more ways other than that. And that's whenever they made the trade, there's a reason why it was a win-win deal from the get-go. Veteran, that can help win a team a championship for a young guy that could be that guy for the future. And that's exactly what it's turned out to be. Josh Giddey, number 1 guy on the Bulls, powering them to this hot run so far. And then Alex Caruso was crucial in the Thunder's championship win, scoring 20 points twice during the 7-game final series. But we have to really wait and see if the Bulls are real or not. But they're showing that they can potentially make the playoffs. I'm not sure if there's anything past a first-round exit maybe. I could see them being like a 5-6 seed, they love to live in the play-in game, so you could always see them catch them in the play-in games if all else fails. But it's just with this team, there's so much surrounding issues with it. There's so much just question marks with a bunch of young guys that you really just can't tell what to make of them so far. But here's another hot team, another hot young team with the Portland Trailblazers. They're on fire. After it started very, very poorly for them, after the first game of the season, they lost in devastating fashion to the Timberwolves, and then about, 5 hours later, it turns out their head coach is a convict, and the FBI gets involved, and now they have San Antonio Spurs legend Thiago Splitter leading the way. And they've done pretty good. They've won 3 games in a row now. Nuggets, Jazz, and Lakers are the teams they beat. And you look, they beat the Nuggets and the Lakers. Those are 2 really good teams. they also beat the Warriors. Those are the 4 teams they've beat are 3 of them's really good, and the other one's the Utah Jazz. So that's doing pretty good so far. They have the Lakers tonight on NBA TV if you want to tune into that. I know I probably won't be able to. I have a 8 a.m. class that's in the other campus that I have to go and play volleyball for. But what is it? What are the Trailblazers? I know we were all high on them, so it's kind of like a
the halfway I told you so, even though it's only like 6 games in moment. I mean, go cook them in volleyball, Cody. You have a good time with that. I will say, I'll make the pun now. I guess the Portland Trailblazers chips have fallen to their side, as some might call it, so far this season. I mean, being 4-2, second in that Northwest Division. You have good wins against teams like the Lakers. I mean, the Denver Nuggets. Almost called them the Broncos. Got NFL in the mind. And the Golden State Warriors, I think, is really impressive from this younger Portland squad under Tiago Splitter, Spurs legend. I mean, you're having guys like Jeremy Grant, Drew Holiday, Shaedon Sharpe, and obviously Tamani Kamara having, I think, really great production for this Portland Trailblazer team. I'm really excited. I mean, we were all high on them. I hope they continue this because it would make us look 10 times smarter than we are. But actually, I'm looking now to see, especially in this Laker game, hopefully they get another win against them. And for Portland's sake, if they keep doing good, I mean, you never know. Splitter could keep that permanent job. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most underrated move of the offseason was Drew Holiday to the Blazers. I think just having a veteran guard presence with the younger guards on this team is going to be so huge for this team's development. And I mean, I agree with you, RJ. I hope they do make the playoffs so we do look like we know what we're talking about just a little bit. But, I mean, Drew Holiday has been rock solid for them. 18 points, 8 assists, and 5 rebounds. Yeah, that's very impressive stuff from Drew Holiday. Obviously on that championship team with both the Bucks and the Celtics. But having a guard like that to kind of rule the roost in the backcourt and help out these other players as well, it's going to be massive for this team and for their development. And Shaedon Sharpe's come along. I mean, we talked about him last week. I know he was struggling offensively, but kind of
field goal percentage still is not looking too hot, but he's getting a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting up there. I mean, 17 points a game. I mean, there's still a lot of season left. Only 35% from the field, but I mean, this team is young, and they are very impressive so far here early.
Yeah, I completely agree. Getting that veteran guard presence to help out guards like Shaedon Sharpe. And remember, they still drafted Scoot Henderson, who I don't know if is he in the G League still?
No,
or
he's
is he hurt?
He has a hamstring injury.
Yeah,
so.
but that's a guy that you drafted 2nd overall a few years ago. If you can find some development in him, even if you don't think he's going to be the superstar that you drafted him as, that would still be great for him to develop into like a solid bench player for the Trailblazers. But you also still got to remember this team still has Dame, who will eventually be back, maybe later this year, maybe not. But it'll be another great guard presence on this team. Him back in Portland, and as RJ said, they just hit the lottery with an interim coach, so it's good for the Trailblazers. They're starting to develop again and starting to get back into that Western Conference playoff picture.
Yeah, definitely. I've really liked, how just spread out their offense has been so far. I mean, you just look at the guys scoring points. You have 5 different guys so far averaging double figures for this team with Denny Avdija, Jeremy Grant, Drew Holiday, Shaedon Sharpe, and Tamani Kamara all averaging double figures. Donovan Clingan is almost averaging a double-double, 9.5 points and 10 rebounds a game for him. And then you have solid bench rotational guys in Chris Murray, Blake Wesley, Matisse Thybulle's playing pretty good. I mean, okay, Caleb Love, guys. Caleb Love's played 2 games so far. Look out for my guy, Caleb Love. I mean, he's played more than Robert Williams has. That's something to shout out. But they've looked strong. I mean, their defense is really firm. It's just from top to bottom, throughout the shaft. It's from Tamani Kamara. It's Matisse Thybulle. Those 2 guys are a great defensive duo. It's just so hard to get past this team. You have Matisse Thybulle. You have Tamani Kamara. Apologies. You have these 2 really strong defenders. Tamani Kamara was, I believe, 1st team all defense a season ago. Might have been 2nd team. He was 1 of the 2. But Matisse Thybulle, we already know, he's really starting to pick it up a bit. He was struggling a little bit. just to stay on the court through the injuries and stuff, but he's really started to pick up the slack, and he's going strong so far, and it's really good to see for Matisse. I was a big Matisse Thybulle fan when he was on Philly, and it's really nice to see him start to play some big minutes on a potential playoff contender. Now, switching topics a little bit, now going from hot starts to horrible, really bad starts. The Pelicans are 0-5. As RJ Rice is struggling to keep it together right now. The Pelicans are 0-5. They did not have their first-round pick. And they traded that first-round pick for another first-round pick this year and drafted Derek Queen. But unfortunately for them, they're not playing Derek Queen until garbage time, which is very questionable. I don't care what your center rotation may look like. There's no reason Kevon Looney should be playing over there's no reason you should have signed Kevon Looney, actually, whenever you were going to trade your first-round pick for Derek Queen. But is there any positives to take away, or are we just going to just crap on the Pelicans for the next 10 minutes?
I mean, yeah, I don't know who's struggling more. Me trying not to laugh at you at the New Orleans Pelicans at this rate. I think really for the only main positives, I guess, for New Orleans is Zion's playing, and he's averaging 20-plus points a game. That's something. You got Jordan Poole almost averaging 20 points, I guess. I mean, I know Matt's not a big fan over there of that. But, I mean, looking at the teams they have played, if my computer would like to load. There we go, beautiful. I mean, just recently coming off that blowout at Oklahoma City, I mean, you faced pretty well against a tough Clippers team. Then, obviously, the Denver Nuggets just blew them out of the absolute water. Boston kind of doing the same. Almost got one against San Antonio, and then, obviously, the Memphis game where they lost by 6 to begin the year. You got Charlotte on November 4th, which is tomorrow. So I guess that's a positive, I guess, even though Don Brusco's, I guess, NBA team might make New Orleans 0-7. But you got to, I guess, find some positives in this team, even though there are very few. We'll keep it at that.
The only positive right now for the New Orleans Pelicans is they are somehow not the only winless team in the league. They're 0-6 along with the Brooklyn Nets, but
At least the Nets have their pick.
Yeah, but yeah, this team is screwed. I mean, who owns their pick? Do you know?
Our good pals over in Atlanta.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Well, you're gonna have a great pick.
Do they have multiple first round picks this year?
Yeah.
Atlanta has like
Wow.
3, don't they?
Yeah.
So the Pelicans are basically funding a potential Atlanta dynasty. That's the only positive.
Okay, Atlanta dynasty
Hey.
is like it could happen.
Those 3 first round picks. I mean,
It's just who I guess weak sports cities helping. I guess one weak sports city making themselves even weaker to maybe make a dude in Atlanta like a little bit happier.
Yeah, I think this team has a lot of problems. I think the first problem is Jordan Poole is on their roster. The failed experiment in Washington. Just hope everything goes bad for him. I hope for the worst for Jordan Poole.
Okay.
They have too many primary ball handlers in Jordan Poole and Jeremiah Fears. Both of them don't pass the ball whatsoever. Jeremiah Fears is a score for first point guard. It's sad when Zion is leading your team in assists. Yeah, but credit to Zion. He looks like he's back to sort of what we sort of expected from Zion. It's sort of sad that Derek Queen isn't getting enough minutes, or Yves Misi, who was in the Rookie of the Year race for a little bit. I think those should be your two dynamic centers. Derek Queen should be starting. A rotation of Derek Queen, Trey Murphy, Zion Williamson, and Jeremiah Fears would be a lethal young rotation to build on. Jeremiah Fears is your point guard of the future. Really liked him out of Oklahoma. But this Pelicans team just has been poorly run for a while, and they just have never been able to get it off the ground.
Yeah, Joe Dumars is their GM for some reason. Willie Green is their head coach for some reason still. Honestly, I don't know how, you go 0-6 and he's still your head coach.
They have TV personality Hunter Dickinson on their team.
Yeah, they do. There's nothing to take. I'm at least happy for Zion. Good job. You're playing good so far. Please stay healthy. Trey Murphy has been very disappointing to start the year. He's not been scoring whatsoever. He's not even reached 20 points once, I believe.
That's my fault because he's on my fantasy basketball team. But
he actually
we are
has. He has scored 20 once.
They just have no facilitators on their team. They just have too many ball first. Let me go to the hoop.
I mean, they
players.
literally drafted Jeremiah Fears, who was Jordan Poole, and then traded for Jordan Poole.
Whoa. Jeremiah Fears is way better than Jordan Poole. But he is. But I get your point.
You have to like. What makes me so crazy about the Jordan Poole situation is that he was a legit like championship like piece for the Warriors. Got traded to Washington, and then he just forgot how to play winning basketball.
Yep.
Like he just like the second he got to Washington, he went from a really strong bench, like I guess Lou Williams style, like sixth man. Started some at some points with the Warriors as well. Whenever Klay Thompson was struggling with injuries, got to Washington, had one taste of like a team going for draft picks, going for some rookie stuff, and then he just screwed them up and was screwing up their entire like all of their young players like process, and then he just decided I'm going to go from a strong scorer off the bench to I'm just going to shoot every single shot possible. I'm going to shoot three. Oh, bang. I'm going to hit that one off the back rim. Like the stuff I was seeing him try to pull out against the Thunder was just making me upset because I was a huge Jordan Poole fan whenever he was on Golden State. I loved him at Michigan. It's just what's it come about? He shot 2 of 11 from the field against the Thunder, and that shot diet was ugly. He only shot 2 2-pointers, drove to the hoop once. These missed shots. I'm gonna go through these. Missed drive layup, and then 26-foot three, 26-foot three, 25-foot, 30-foot three, 28-foot. No efficient looks. It's just deep threes. And there's probably one, like the 2 closer threes he took, he hits. It's just, I don't know. Jordan Poole really disappoints me.
Playing for Washington, D.C., that'll do that to you.
I was about to say.
I hate to break it
I mean,
to you,
Hey,
Matt.
he was part of the problem, though. It wasn't just the Wizards.
Well,
he was part of the
fair.
problem.
That could also come down to like coaching because obviously as a rookie with the Warriors, he was kind of like expected to be a piece on a contender.
Yeah, he was brought in to be the leader of the team and be the primary scoring player, their dynamic point guard of the future, and he just decided he didn't want to do that.
Yeah, he was their dynamic shot taker. That's something, I guess.
Yep.
Dynamic as in just chuck threes from like
basically.
as soon as you get
gotta
across.
love it. I mean, it's just like you trade your first round pick. That like I don't even care who you draft. You traded your first round pick for a late lottery pick. It's not even like you traded like.
I do like Derek Queen though.
I mean, yeah, Derek Queen's a good player, but I don't think you should ever trade a pick like a first round pick whenever you're not guaranteed to be good the next year, especially when you're the New Orleans Pelicans. Yeah. And it's such a loaded draft class. I mean, there's a chance that this pick is just going to gift the Atlanta Hawks A.J. Devonsta. There's a chance it gifts them one of the boozers. There's a chance it gives them Peterson. Like, it's just the Pelicans annoy me to levels I never thought I could be annoyed to, especially whenever I don't really give anything about the Pelicans. Like, it's just they just really make me mad.
This is why the league used to own them, Cody.
Yeah, that's true. Now, let's talk some positives instead of that. Well, I was right. It was 10 minutes of straight just dogging on New Orleans. Rookie roundtable. Who's some rookies that you all have really liked to watch so far?
Hey, at least it was deserved. But I will take the honor of honorary Spurs lover for DJ since he's not here today. I'll go Dylan Harper. I know he just got hurt, unfortunately, but he's been playing really well this season. I mean, so far he's been having 12 points, 13, 11, 20, 13, and 15. I'm not sure exactly what the injury is, but I know he was in a walking boot. So that is not good to see for him. Hopefully it's nothing major or serious. Because this San Antonio team's been really good with him and Victor, and I think especially for he's been averaging 14, 4, and almost 4 again. He's shooting around 50%, which I think is good. He can get that number up higher. I think he can be even better. But obviously I know somebody's going to talk about VJ. I just don't want to take the obvious pick.
I'm going to talk about Con Knipple. I think that he's been a really solid addition to the Charlotte team. He had 24 points last time out yesterday against the Utah Jazz, where they did win. But over the month of October, he had 13.8 and 14.5 so far in November. But I think he's been a really, really nice pairing with LaMelo Ball and that young core they have going in Charlotte.
I'm gonna talk about my guy. I'm gonna talk about Trey Johnson. Just what a scorer for the Wizards. He's the point guard. He's the shooting guard of the future. Once they start to phase C.J. McCollum to the bench and they just let Trey Johnson shine, it's gonna be amazing. This is a team that's still developing. They're still in the rebuild. They're looking for a pick. They're looking to get that forward of the future to pair with Sarr. And if they can somehow find a way to lottery get the number 1 pick and add DeBansa to this rotation, sky's the limit for this team. They're finally embracing the tank and tanking the right way. They brought in new ownership and GMs, and they got the right coach.
Will Dawkins, baby.
Yep. It's a Thunder guy, right?
Yeah. He was Sam Presti's right-hand guy.
Yep. See, they're doing it the right way. They're learning from the best team in the league. Then they're getting the right people. They weren't able to successfully get the number 1 because the league hates them. So they got Trey Johnson, who's an elite scorer, to pair him with Bub, and now you have Bub and mix him with Koulibaly and Sarr. This team is starting to develop well, and they're getting a bunch of young talent to build for the future.
Yeah, definitely. And the Wizards, I'm pulling hard for them just because I love Will Dawkins, and I really want to see Will Dawkins just successfully build a team up, just like his mentor did. But Ryan Kalkbrenner is who I'm going with, the Charlotte Hornets big man. He was a second-round pick, 34th overall. He's looking really good so far. I mean, it was expected. He's an older rookie at 23, but 9 points, 6.6 rebounds. He's shooting 81.1% from the field. I mean, that's first in the entire NBA. That's really strong as a rookie. I understand shot and diet's going to be very efficient. Shots around the post, a lot of dunks, but all around, I mean, he's blocking 2.1 shots a game, stealing 1.3 balls a game. And it's just, through 27 minutes, he's slowly working his way up and up on the rotation. I mean, there's a really strong center duo on the come up there over there in Charlotte with Moussa Diabate and Ryan Kalkbrenner. Those two are going to be big for this team, and the Hornets have made me a little happy so far. I've been happy watching them. They've 3-4 record. They have a chance of pushing to the play-in. I actually predicted that at the start of the year. That's why I'm kind of happy. But LaMelo Balls look great. The rookies look great. I mean, we had 2 rookies mentioned of Charlotte Hornets so far already in the rookie roundtable. But they've looked great. Kalkbrenner's look great. And now for our last segment of the game, of the show, it's going to be the NBA Cup speed picks. We're not going to take 5 years like we have the last 2 episodes. We're not doing any key players to watch. We're going to say probably 4 words on who's going to win for these NBA Cup games. There's a marathon of them. Friday night, November 7th, every single NBA team is playing NBA Cup basketball. We're starting 7 p.m. tip. Boston Celtics, Orlando Magic, Kia Center, Orlando, Florida.
Give me the Magic.
Yeah, give me the Magic.
I'm going to take Boston.
I'm going to take Boston. I feel Joe Mazzulla. That's why. Now,
there's always a West Virginia connection.
Yes. Cavaliers, Wizards, Capital One Arena, Washington, D.C. Matt Foley versus these two.
Donovan Mitchell is good.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell is going to cook.
Trey Johnson, Keyshawn George legacy game.
Give me the Cavs. Okay.
I'll save the graphic.
Toronto Raptors, Atlanta Hawks, State Farm Arena, Atlanta, Georgia. No Trae Young, but they do have Jalen Johnson.
Hawks are sleeper team.
Raptors are a sleeper team.
Scotty Barnes.
I don't like how much wings the Raptors have. Give me Atlanta. Pistons, Nets, Barclays Center. 0-6 Nets right now. Brooklyn, New York.
The Nets really suck.
Yeah, give me Detroit.
Caden them. But I love Igor Demon.
Detroit basketball. Now, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Prime Video. Houston Rockets, San Antonio Spurs, Frost Bank Center. I didn't know that's what it's called now. San Antonio, Texas.
Wembanyama is a unicorn.
Yeah, give me the Spurs.
Give me the Rockets.
Kevin Durant. 8 p.m. tip. The NBA League Pass. Emirates NBA Cup. Charlotte Hornets. Miami Heat. I'm not going to say the Miami's new stadium because I hate it so much.
Casino?
Wait, I thought it was still the Toyota Center.
It's no.
Kaseya Center.
It's Kaseya Center. Now it used to be American Airlines Center.
What's the Toyota Center?
Toyota is...
That's Houston.
Yes, Houston.
Oh, it's Houston.
Miami, Florida.
Hornets make surprise statement.
Yeah, give me LaMelo Ball.
Bam.
Yeah, give me the Hornets. Let's go Hornets. Okay, 8 p.m. League Pass. Dallas Mavericks, Memphis Grizzlies in the FedEx Forum.
Grizzlies are very dysfunctional.
Give me Memphis.
Cooper Flag, 30 points.
The Dallas Mavericks find a way to pick something up in the win column. League Pass, Utah Jazz, Minnesota Timberwolves, Target Center, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Bucks stop the luck.
Bucks.
What? Oh, my. Oh.
Oh, helmet
Hold on.
moment.
Okay, what are we doing now? Wait, we aren't going over the next game?
We're going to. I'm looking on the
Oh,
NBA's
that's
website.
why.
Jazz Timberwolves.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was the game ahead. Okay, let me reword. Let me relock in. Timberwolves are better.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Timberwolves too. I actually did skip the Bulls Bucks game. That's on me. Yeah, RJ, you were right.
Yeah,
So
come on
both
now.
of you have helmets.
Put some respect on my name. Come on now.
8 p.m. Bulls Bucks Fizzer Forum in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Let me try this again. Bucks stop the luck.
Give me Chicago.
Giannis is big.
Giddy. Triple double. Always finding a way to do it. Give me the Bulls. Now, Prime Video. Golden State Warriors, Denver Nuggets, and Ball Arena, Denver, Colorado. This is going to be a good one.
Curry outlasts Jokic's efforts.
Give me Jokic.
Jokic.
Jimmy G. Butler. Buckets. Last game. Emirates NBA Cup. Oklahoma City Thunder. Sacramento Kings. Russell Westbrook versus the Thunder. Golden One Center. Sacramento, California.
Shea cannot be stopped.
Give me the Kings.
Anybody but Cody Burton.
Lou Dort, big game Lou. All right. That is the speed pick section of the Emirates NBA Cup. It's always fun to do that.
Try to do my best Matt Foley impression. 4 words. I got one that was 3 words, but the rest were 4 spot on. So I'll take it.
Well done.
That was a fun episode there of the Flop Factor. Went a solid 52 minutes and counting. But thank you guys for listening to this one. For me, Cody Burton, RJ Rice, Brayden Laszlo, and our special guest, Washington Wizards supporter Matt Foley. Thanks for listening. We'll see y'all next week.